of the key areas the study looked at was copyright and how effectively pitching agencies protect their interests. What did you find out?
I think copyright is a big issue. It's like the elephant in the corner. I think that a lot of agency heads hope that it's an issue that someone else will deal with. Clients don't help them, because clients will say, look, we want to be fair. We do want to be fair on this, but you'll have to talk to procurement. And thereby, there's a lot of kind of, we wash our hands of this, please go and talk to them. Procurement say, I'm sorry, that's the way we deal with all our agencies, we aren't going to change it, take it or leave it. And you're left with a pretty stark decision at that point. So I think what agencies are really looking for is some help from the trade body, from the DMA here, that says, look, we've worked with procurement, we've worked with clients and agencies to come up with some base guidelines on the subject of copyright, so that when we're in a position with a client of trying to sign up a contract, we can turn to that and say, look, please can you follow the standard guidelines that the DMA have put up, and use that as a crutch, really, because at the moment it is a very difficult battle to fight as an agency, is to get hold of that copyright, because you don't quite know who you're dealing with in client organisation, and quite often those who've been before you will have handed away a lot of copyright to have that business anyway, so you're changing the rules as you go. We all need help if we're going to do that. It's going to take some time.
I think one of the things that came out very clearly from the research, and we spoke to large agencies, medium agencies, small agencies, is that every single agency we spoke to said that they're not doing enough to protect their interests when it comes to copyright. And that includes even the very largest agencies. There are a number of reasons for that. But it's so important to get this right, because in an ever-changing world where media channels themselves are constantly evolving and changing, if an agency is doing a pitch and they're, for example, presenting work that involves direct response advertising, perhaps press, off-the-page press, inserts, some direct mail, and they come up with an original idea, and that's part of the pitch, what's going to happen when the client, quite understandably, wants to use that idea and that perhaps creative approach in other areas, such as digital, perhaps also telemarketing? In fact, we came across a situation only last week where one of the biggest agencies in town had done and won a pitch regarding creating a whole new character and approach. It was all very clever, that involves direct response advertising. A telemarketing agency wanted to use that idea, and it was the telemarketing agency that wanted to copyright the idea. And they were doing the right thing. They were actually showing the client how an idea the client had already bought could work across our other areas. But it was interesting, it was the telemarketing agency that wanted to take the initiative to copyright the idea, rather than the direct marketing agency that originally created it. And that's a good example of how one sort of protect one's interests. It's also important to get a contract signed when it comes to copyright, and so often copyright is all part of an overall contract agreement. And something like 50% of contracts are never actually come to being signed. The reasons for that are the inevitable kind of questions from the agency to the client about various kind of factors within all of that. Clients often who are marketing clients, often have to go back to procurement or the company secretariat to get the answers. And these things can ping-pong for ages. Meanwhile, the work needs to be done, the agency wants to get paid, so the work starts, and the contract never gets signed, and within that is the copyright agreement. So it might be that the two should be separated out. And I think there's a clear role here for the DMA to give guidance to both parties, both agencies and clients, how to protect both their interests, and to think about some of the unusual ways in which copyright might affect their business.